Hello, my name is Brant Hunt. My channel is Discerning What is True. My title of the talk today is Why Do People Do Not See the Truth in the Bible? Uh, so this is not going to be a long, hopefully not a long video, but I just wanted to share. You see, the Bible itself is one of the largest, well, basically a bestseller throughout the world, especially in the Western world. And unfortunately, no one understands it. And what do I mean by that? Well, most pastors and theologians and those who are Bible teachers have taught it in a literal terms. They're looking at it literally. They believe that there's actually was a Noah's flood. They believe that actually there was the 7 days that the people of Israel marched around Jericho and the city fell. They look at these as a historical things that happened in the past, when reality, that's not true. Many people now have distanced themselves away from Christianity or the Bible, mainly because simply is that they've lost confidence in their pastors, because their pastors are not even seen as morally ethical in many ways. Many have gone to different views, and the parishioners or members of those churches have left. Um, and also, we live in a age that basically somewhat is questioning these things. And there's a so what happens simply is, and it happened to me. So I grew up in a Christian home, not a Catholic home, but a Protestant home. I grew up in there's various denominations involved in the Protestant faith. I grew up in a Southern Baptist church at first as a young baby to approximately 5 to 6 to 7 years old, and then got involved. My parents got involved with what we call a fundamentalist. I should take that back to 4 years old. Got involved in a fundamentalist independent Baptist church who believed in a literal hell and used that in a lot of ways to do with me and others to bring about fear in people's lives. Now, my question simply is this: why would God Himself choose to punish people to go to hell forever? Why would God do that? Does that make any sense? After all, God did send us here, and after all, we have come from the fourth dimension ourselves, 4D world, and we have this idea in the back of our heads or our noggin or how we feel that life should be fair. There should be something called love. Where did that come from? You see, well, that came from somewhat of our essence where we came from God. But we're here. We're in a 3D world. It's not what it was where we were, you see. Something's happened. Well, first of all, we have bodies. Our bodies, in a lot of ways, simply is different what we were before because we're all spirits. Every one of us are spirits. All of us, no matter who they are. Good, bad. When I say bad, I mean that people do bad things here. But what I'm trying to say simply is that um, we've forgotten where we came from. The other thing is stands out to me is simply is that uh, why would there be I guess I've said something a little bit about it you last night in a video. Why would God have to send us His Son? Why would God have to enter this 3D world? Why would God do that? What's the purpose of that? In other words, is God has to solve the problem here, or are we in some ways not recognizing that Scripture itself is a different perspective? It's no longer a literal terms. It's a myth. It's stories. It's something there that's trying to tell us something, but we've been taught so much of our lives that everything's literal. This is literal. This has to be a literal boat that Noah was on. He built a boat. Well, how did Noah build this boat? Okay, did he just build it all by himself? Well, that doesn't make sense. It's a pretty big boat, isn't it? Well, how did he get it? How did he get it? Then also simply is he's told to get all these animals, so to speak, and put them in this boat. Well, who's going to help him? I mean, how many animals are you going to put on this boat? You're going to get every bird, such and such on this boat. You're going to have all these cages. Not only that, simply is when you get all these animals, you've got to have a male and a female. You just can't have a male. You have to have a set of couples. You have to have two, you see. So you have tigers, you have to have two tigers. You have to have all different types. This doesn't make any sense, folks. It doesn't make a bit of sense. When you begin to look at logic here, it makes no sense. They would have to take a whole army of people working together with Noah to even make this work. So it cannot be literal. It cannot, you see. And so what about simply is that Jesus was here? How do we know that Jesus was here? Why would it be the star of Bethlehem? Was there a special star? Why is that happening there? You see, so there's a lot of astrology involved in this also, especially with the whole story of the stars and the three magi's. What is that all about? Is there literal people here, or is there something different? And so what happened is people have actually they've jettisoned the whole Bible. And I've done it when I was around 40 years old, a little over 40. Said I didn't want anything to do with the Bible, didn't want anything to do with any of that type of stuff. Okay. And so the recognition now is that you see is that no, it's not supposed to be taken literal. This is why, the whole book of the Revelations, people look at things and they don't understand that there are a way, it's a way that people are thinking that is going to be as a literal hell to people. And we've already seen in some ways what we call people who have passed away and then come back within, minutes of their death and coming back and saying there's no such thing as hell. Very few have said that, you see. There have been some, but was that their thoughts when they died? Did they have those kind of thoughts? Is that what happens to people? We must think about this in a way, a deeper, rational way. Why is there, why was Jonah in the belly of the whale for 3 days? Well, three is simply is a lot to do with what I would call something very important in Scripture. And so we have jettisoned this whole thing, and reality simply is that the Scriptures are supposed to be read differently. In fact, a long time ago, there were ways of looking at this. People went to what they call the mystery schools, and they spent years upon years and years of their life actually investigating this. And so we're looking at something, the Bible itself is being literal, and it's not supposed to be looked at that way. And so people have jettisoned that. And then what's happened is simply is you have a group of people coming in later, this what I would call people who I would call involved in the New Age movement, which is another way of deceiving people. It's a way of deceiving people, you see. And now people believe in that when the reality is it's just another fairy tale. It's just another story, so to speak. It gets people all twisted and they don't understand. And so it's critical for you to understand not to look at it in a literal interpretation. It's critical that you look at it in what I would call a way that you're opening your heart in a way to seeing something is that, well, is it about the zodiac here? Is that what he's speaking of? You see, and so what I'm trying to explain to you, and is there symbolic reasoning for this is taking place? Why is these stories? Who is this guy Noah? Who is this guy? What? Well, we've shared some things I've shared in my videos that simply is that a lot of these are simply pagan stories. but the pagan stories have significance, you see. And so what I'm trying to say is simply is we must look at things in a different way. We must be open. There, many of these things are allegories, you see. And so I just want you to look at these things and have a more open mind to see it as simply as the Bible. This whole thing is, I noticed it even with Christians, they don't understand. They want God to come here and judge people and destroy them. Where did that come from? That's not from God. You see, they've been taught this whole thing of the Old Testament with God when he said such and such thing with these Israelites, and they were supposed to be God was protecting them. These are stories, folks. This is not history. This is not history at all. It has nothing to do with history. But the people were very clever in the Catholic Church and others, but mainly the Catholic Church, who decided not to share what we call the a perspective that was actually not what I call deceiving. They deceive people. You see, they were allegories. And so I just want to share that with you guys today. I just want you to look into these things. I've been following a gentleman guy named Phil Langdon, and we've been talking about a lot of these things simply is. And it's important that you look into these things and ask questions, you see. And I read some things last night from Plato and explaining things of that nature in the past. So we have been deceived in so many ways. And we notice simply is that, I spoke about this also, the Virgin Mary. Well, what is that all about? It's the Virgo, the sign of the Virgo. Has nothing. A virgin cannot have a child, folks. You see that? These are stories. You see, these are all to do with the Virgo and the fish, all this stuff. The fish and the bread, the 5 loaves of bread and the two fish, such and such. Well, the fish are Pisces. Pisces. And so I just want to share that with you. Okay, try to look at things in a different way. Try to see it simply as that you are from God, that you are 3D, now, but you were in a 4D world, and you expect to be loved here. Why do you think that children come here out of their womb or womb, and the first thing they do is cry? I wonder if simply it's because they're crying simply is that they realize they're not in the same place they were before. Almost as though I've been reincarnated again. I'm back here again. This is not what I wanted. Why did I come back here again? You see, even that young child recognizes that as far as I can see. And that child simply, the sad part simply is it recognizes that. And unfortunately, that child cannot talk at that point. All they can do is demonstrate in one way the sadness of their heart that they're here again, that they're reincarnated again. They failed the test, so to speak. And so I want people to look into these things and check these things out. One of the writers I've been investigating immensely is a gentleman named, let's see if I can get his name up here real quick, Alvin Boyd Kuhn. You can look under archive.org and pursue this guy and look into him. He's written over probably 40 or 50 books. So you can look into these things and see what he talks about. And you can study on your own here. You must take that responsibility to learn yourself. You must not be, quote unquote, drawn to what everybody's doing. The majority's never been right about anything. There are others here simply is that we need to save the earth. No, no, no. The earth has always been in chaos. It's always been in chaos. It's always had its issues, always. And that's what's happening now. It's been happening in a different way, but now the media and the internet tools that basically they can use those that want to keep us in fear. So in keeping you in fear, you'll come right back here and guess what? You'll reincarnate again. Your spirit. All of us are spirits here. See, we all come from God, all colors, each man or female. And it's you can dig deep. This is what I'm trying to share. Dig deep. Don't take what other people say. Look into it yourself. You're responsible for these things. You're responsible for your soul. You're responsible for your spirit and knowing the truth. And you have that opportunity. Most of this actually you can find on the internet. You could not have done this 20 years ago, folks. You couldn't have done this. You couldn't have done the research that's being done. You can do that now. You see. So it's again, I just want to point out these things simply is that these are stories, these are allegories, but there's an emphasis on that. You see, there's an emphasis of trying to find the truth. You see, and we have in so many ways we've been here many times. We reincarnated. You see, and what I'm just I don't want to keep you too long because I said it'd be a short video. So I just want you to look into things. Um, there's another guy that I've done many videos on the Temple of God. I mean, see, the Temple of Man by a gentleman from France. I've done videos on him explaining what it's about, what Egypt did, because we are from God, you see. But we've been told we're evil. We're sinners. We're born in sin. All this stuff to keep us way down, to put burdens upon ourselves, you see. And so anyway, again, like I said, I just want to share this information with you. This vital information. Look into these things. It's your life. It's your chance. It's your opportunity to find out who you really are. You see. And again, thank you for being here. And we'll talk again. And you take care. Okay.